Alright, welcome back fans and friends for this upcoming video. This is, as some of you who have watched the channel, this is my favorite version of the Mercury Cougar in general from Greenlight. This is, I believe, the GL Muscle, I think, Series 26 version, and it's because of all the Mercury Cougars that I have, and I have quite a few of them. I think I'm up to 7, I think, or 8 with the Eliminator. So I have 3 Eliminators. I have this one, plus 3 M2s, the 4th of which will be the subject of this video. And I have a bunch of Hot Wheels, so I might have actually over 13, 14 of them. Anyway, this is the only one that comes with this engine. I believe it is the 427 engine, the predecessor to a bunch of like the 428s and the 420, not the 429s, but the 428s, Corbusier versions of the engine. I believe it's the FE. Sorry, not the FE. The FE actually, separating it from this engine, I believe it is the FE, but I'm not sure, is this one here. So this is an Ultra M2, as you can see from the box. R34, greatest car ever made. The R34 Nissan Skyline, not this. This is an excellent car, but I don't know if it's the greatest. And as you can see there, the plastic insert keeping the hood open. The side panel thingies, which are completely useless in more modern versions. So they have released 3 or 4 more recent versions. But what's more importantly is the XR-7G, which was the highest trim for the car. A GTE would have been the high performance version of the XR7. So this as well is an XR7G. You can just see there, but it is not an XR7G. It's just an XR7. And then the GTE is for Gran Turismo, I think the top model 427. And this, unfortunately, is just the regular 390 FE engine. It's not unfortunate, but a lot of the M2s and Ford Mustangs from this era, they will just have the 390. That is a powerful engine. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's no 427. But obviously, this car, I think, is a year later. So you see there, 1968. I am correct. So reasonably well, if you ever see these on the shelves and you happen to be a fan of the Mercury Cougar in its 1960s up until 1970, like I said, the high performance literally eliminated the XR7G with its Eliminator variant. Therefore, you would not be able to grab an XR7 version of the Mercury Cougar built after 1970. They adopted the Torino's wider body, a bunch of other factors, made the car larger and heavier, thus less, not less, but less high performance in terms of the overall guise of the car. So you see there, they did the tires really well. Unfortunately, this plastic thing, you cannot display inside the case with the door open. Plus, you can actually, if you don't watch what you're doing, you see that one there, you can actually damage the scale model. But I do like that the fact that this one is, you already know, you can, I don't have to show you, but I'm going to do it anyway. The bottom of the earlier box is nicely done. You can just see there, 2016. You have Ford, ET, Edelbrock, center line, Mr. Gasket Co. and Goodyear, obviously for the tires. And there you see Cast Line's rocket symbol, similar to the Oldsmobile. And then all the conformity, everything else there. And so you have here, opening door, separate headlights, separate hood, rubber tires, die-cast body, all that stuff. And then you have here, body die-cast, scale 1/64. And you can just see there, the French precision. Raised a bit down. They don't include any of this other stuff. This especially is not found on the newer versions of the models. This though, you know, are 100% new and developed by M2. The problem is they just reuse them. That's not to say that Greenlight doesn't, but they don't usually release certain vehicles all the time. You can just see there, nobody's going to take this thing apart and display it like that because it is reasonably impossible to put it back together the way you took it apart. Especially see here the door, what do they call it, the mounts, they're glued there. So if you separate it like this, you will not be putting it back together. Sorry, that's not the door mounts, that's for the hood. The door mounts are right there. You can just see where the screw goes, where it's glued on. If you look here, you'll see that little pin. That's where that little angle thing goes in. These are flatly glued onto the underside of the car. This is a Ford and or Shelby Mustang. You can tell it's very distinctive. Early 60s, sorry, not early, middle 60s, so 1965 to about 1969. That is the engine, the oil air cleaner filter. Obviously the steering wheel. You have the wheels, there's all the screws you require, there's the front seats, there's the body panel, there's the engine deck. I believe that is it, but I'm sure that it actually, I think that goes on top of that, and then this goes on top of that. And there's the two little plastic pieces. We're going to see the Mercury equivalent. There's no way you would be easily able to unglue this, take it apart, and put it back together. Those little things I was talking about. No way. I would anyway. I'm not super talented, but I'm not super under-talented. Anyway, as you can see here, I've been making these myself. You just take old plastic pieces, you cut them how you want. You don't really need these two little tabs. It's great, but it's not necessary. I will be keeping it with it. As you can see, the hood stands by itself really well. No complaints. We already saw it, 390 in there. The only other thing to show you is, I don't know, I'll just do it anyway. I take out the screws. It's a rather older one, so it's just this one actually is just approaching 8 years. So you can see there the screw does not want to give way. Especially as they are just a little bit softer. I don't want to damage them, so perhaps not to take it out of the base. But I'll try anyway. I will not try. Forget it. I don't want to damage it. I'm already starting to strip it, and I don't want to be that, you know, it's an excellent model, and it's stuck to that base. And the other thing too is the threading of the screws themselves are not super easy to match. And the last thing you want to do is thread something you can't really put back together. Yeah, screw it. I'm not going to do it. So, unfortunately, I'll not be taking it apart. I've done previous other Mercuries that are nearly identical to this. I can just take those off. So you can see here I managed to get one of them out, but this other one, I just don't want to strip it. And unfortunately, this Klein bit doesn't want to fit. And it's not like my Husky that has all the bits in the back. Maybe I've got it. We'll see. Or I've just completely stripped it. And this thing is now garbage. Oh, it's coming out. There we go. See, I didn't destroy it. I'm going to have problems putting that back in, but I'll deal with that off video. It's not a comedy channel. So there you have the screws. You can see which one I had trouble with and which one I did not have trouble with. And this panel thing, they've completely eliminated from all the newer versions of this M2 release. The reason for that is it's completely unnecessary, and it actually impedes you from displaying the car with the doors open. You can still display the car as an open plastic panel. There's the M2, second version of the casting of this base. And then here we have the 2012 version of the case. Usually now the 2017 and 2021. And you can just see the work in progress moldings that has not been filed down. All right. The Mercury, and as you can see, they're both 164. I will compare them out later on. You can see that the door does not want to shut. Anyway, nice and easy to see into the cabin. White seats make the steering wheel stick out. No overarching detail on the dash. You have the wipers painted differently than the body, which is a gold color. You have the border for the window. Vinyl roof with the center panel here onto the front. So here, I do not see. So we know that the Mercury symbol is here, but on normal, not normal, but most other versions of the car, if you look on the left, of the green light, you will see the Cougar. Now, they're both XR-7Gs, so I believe the highest trim level should actually have the cat on the thing. You can just see here, they failed. It is just a blotch of plastic and or metal, chromed metal. So that's a quality issue. Most of the time, I will say how much better the older ones are than the newer ones, but unfortunately, the newer one are actually slightly better than this. I do believe I remember that there was a little bit of a chip on the brown one. That doesn't take away from the whole car, but it does make it look like, you didn't spend too much time. Bubbles in the plastic might be from age. I do like the white interior of the car, resting on the black body. It does make it stand out. We have also the Cougar, says there on the back. Unlike that one over there, it does not say GTE or XR-7G. Look, you can just see how well done this one was, right? Look at that. You can clearly read XR-7G. And like a few minor, obviously these green lights always do have the wheel issue. That's how we know it's in a green light. It has the cat actually on top of the XR-7G. So there's that to complain about. There's that not to complain about. Doors open. Usually, long-time viewers of the channel will know that I have issues with either the right or the left door. But this one, I do not have any issues whatsoever. I think this is just over time. You can see this is the door that was open because of the panel. And this is the door that was not. A little bit of a gap, but it's not terrible. Goodyear written on the side of the tires. Poly glass. I can't read the last few letters, but it's polyglass something. I believe GST something 16. So 16-inch tires, TTG, maybe. A little bit hard for me to read. I don't want to make this video 1 hour though, so you don't have to hear me read slowly. There's a 1968 on the back license plate where it normally would be. The brake light and Mercury Cougar symbols. Nothing else defining. We have not inserts, but this whole panel just painted over. It does look really nice. I will give it M2. I think was done really well. The reflective surface of the green light plus nothing on the license plate is much worse. But then obviously green light and M2 did put the Mercury on the right side of the trunk, which is great. Right there, you can just read it. There's the exhaust. So just on to the right. I don't remember seeing the gas cap, but usually for the Fords it's on the opposite side. Could also be on the back there. So I have never seen somebody fill up gas with this thing at a gas station, so I would not be able to tell you. On to the underside. There we go. The plain cost-cutting / inaccuracy of the 1968 Cougar. So if I were to throw out that base, it is simply run-of-the-mill Mercury Cougar 1968 version of the car. Unfortunately, M2 does not make an eliminator version of the car, so you can't size compare them. This is actually, in fact, one of the funny things is I don't have any other regular Mercury Cougar from Greenlight besides this one. What I mean by that is the 1970s, like I said, is a bigger version of the car based on the Torino, not the Mustang. And this one is the same thing, but these guys, M2, don't make the eliminator version of the car, as far as I know. So basically everything there you can see, transfer case, differential, and it is actually quite dissimilar to the Greenlight. So is that an issue of engine choice? It's an issue of quality control. I brought it up before, Greenlight and M2, they both say exactly 164, not exactly, but 164 scale. And these cars are nowhere near the same scale. This is the same difference between the eliminator to the regular one here. So unfortunately, if you're looking for a more accurate scale model, I'm not. M2 and Greenlight don't agree on the numbers, so you cannot obviously go by that. Anyway, I've covered everything else. On to the final bit. This is my favorite bit, the engineering / how the moving parts of the car. You can just see how well, I think this is actually better done than that Maisto Ford. You have there the 390, the air filter, the cylinders all painted differently. The base to make it stand apart, and for once, you can just see there, that's the thing that they glued together to the hood. If you take that off, it is extremely difficult to put it back on, the joint there. So you can disassemble it, but you will not be able to reassemble it easily. So there we have it. Reasonably well done, as always. I do like this one. It is an older one, so you probably will not be able to easily find it. However, if you find it on Kijiji, and Facebook Marketplace, or wherever it is you buy things that are used. There's a bunch of websites. I don't know if this would be on sale there, or definitely eBay is too expensive. Don't know. I'm trying to get a DeSoto Firefly from M2, and they want almost like $35 for it. So I could buy 3 regular M2s for the price of that, or a full tank of gas. So I mean, it's just that. Now here's the funny thing too. I just want to bring it up. The wheels. The wheels are a solid piece, but you can just see there they have an extension for the center of the hubcap. It actually feels really nice. Very well textured. I just felt it right now. I don't believe this one has it. It's just a flat panel. So there you go. One other minor difference. It would not be easy to swap the wheels, but I don't think I have the patience to do it. Anyway, this has been a rather long video, but this is one of my favorite vehicles. Not of all time, but it's definitely in the top 5. Like I said, you can never go wrong with getting one of these. Unfortunately, most of the M2s happen to be the 390 version of the car. Especially this one with the XR-7G is the top trim, so why not get the most powerful version of it? But it is not the absolute most powerful version of it, because that would be this. I think is actually the 427. But you will be losing out. To cram it in there, you cut out certain, let's just say, luxury features. Anyway, fans and friends, Tums from Toronto, having brought you this long video on the 1968 Mercury Cougar XR-7G 390 version engine of the car, R34 2016 fourth casting. Thanks for sticking with me if you did. And till the next one.